Hey friends, this is Eddie Figgy,
And this is Longtooth.
and tonight we're bringing you Echo of Ghosts. So it's a collection of ghost stories your family maybe never told you. And I believe today or tonight we're going to be able to share something really, really amazing. So sit tight and enjoy the rest of the evening. So introduce yourself.
My name is Nancy. I grew up in Mallison.
And my name's Fidel, and I also grew up in Mallison.
All right, and so this evening you have a story for us to share. And so it's about a particular home. So go ahead.
Yes. Well, my ghost experience in Mallison was a bit, what do you call it, like scary for me.
What is Mallison? And did you guys both live in the same?
Well, we lived in
Area?
the same block.
Yeah, we was in the same block, probably like 5 houses away from
Away
each other.
from each other. So I moved into Mallison when I was about 9.5 or 10 years old. And that's where I met my husband.
Can you describe the house? Like, the feeling of it? Like, was it just like a regular old house? Like,
Well,
what can you say about
it was a old, cold house to me. It wasn't a friendly home feeling. It wasn't homey. I mean, till this day I have nightmares. Any dreams that I have in that house, they're nothing nice. It's always a nightmare. I was always kind of scared. I didn't want to be by myself at the house. It was always cold. Always
Well,
I felt it.
what
cold.
didn't help, I mean, it's obviously 1940s kind of.
Yeah, the house.
It wasn't drywall, it was
It's an
stucco.
old
So,
house.
and then it was also elevated. So the elevation, it was with like a furnace from the bottom.
Oh, interesting.
So then that made the house feel like a little hollow at the same time. I think that's probably, and then the floor did used to crack because of the way it was set and stuff like that. So that because I remember we used to have the same kind of thing in my house.
I remember, well, one of them I was by myself. I don't know where my mom had gone. I think she went to TJ or I don't know where, but I was by myself and I went to the restroom, but I don't even know if my babysitter was or no, because I went into the restroom and I was washing my hands and I turned the light off, and as I was starting to walk out the hallway going to the living room, I heard the light click. Like when they turn on the light, and like it's an old home, you know, it's not like these new light switches. It literally is like those metal ones that, I don't know, they're just
Yeah, they're just
different.
a lot more.
Just to clarify here, no, this is from the inside, right? So
Inside the
light-
restroom.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had shut off the light, and it was dark because it was late. It might have been 7 o'clock. So before I even hit the dining room, I heard the switch turn on, and I seen the light go off behind me. I was like, I froze. I started crying, and I didn't know what to do because I was by myself. First thing I did is I ran outside, and I didn't even sit on the porch. I was on the sidewalk where you park the cars, sitting down crying. And when my mom got home, what happened? She was all like, what's wrong with you? Like somebody turned on the light on me. And she was like hugging me, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I left you by yourself. I don't know what time. I think I was outside for 2 hours by myself. I want to say, because it was, or unless I just thought it was an eternity. But yeah, so that was one incident.
But before we move forward to the next one, you had stated that there was a babysitter. Do you
Yeah,
know for sure she was there, or was she not there?
No, she wasn't there. It
Okay.
was no, because I sat on the port on the
front of the house.
on the front of the house. Nobody was there.
Yeah.
If not, I would have just
Yeah,
been
yeah.
with Beatriz. That was my babysitter. And no, I was by myself on the sidewalk. Like I said, I couldn't even sit in the porch, and I did it. I don't know why. I just sat on the damn sidewalk,
Well,
crying.
I think the reason you weren't in the front of the porch because the way the porch, the house just had a weird feeling about it, even from the outside looking in. It was almost one of those houses, even the way it was built. Like you see the stories now about the houses, you know, on these movies. It's kind of built like a cone shape from both of the sides, and then it had the porch was like inside of like part of
the
the
house.
house. So it wasn't like you're outdoor. You kind of have access to the. It was more
so
like
it's
enclosed.
So like
It's
the
kinda-
house was still holding
Yeah,
you
it's still
inside.
yeah.
It was still
It was
holding the
believe me,
porch.
like I mean, I always kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been skeptical. Usually, I'm the one like, yeah, whatever. It's just a noise. Don't even worry about it. So, but I've like from the beginning, like I think you asked me, Longtooth, you asked me about how I felt like when I first moved in. That was one of the houses, and in particular, just the way it was built, the way it was felt. I mean, we used to play in the block, and I think that's one of the places where we just kind of didn't really spend a lot of time around it. We were either on one side or the other side. It was never like a reason why.
Yeah.
So I have like two questions. So I know we don't have contact with Beatriz, but did you guys ever hear anything from her? Like, did she also like validate like, oh yeah, there was something?
No, the thing is that I don't think you talked about it. We're talking about it at like years after. It wasn't like we would talk about it. I don't know.
Well, I think even to this day, from what I understand, you know, my wife's dad and my wife's mom, she had their experiences that we, or even I think your brothers might have had experience that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
You know, I think that, you know, I've heard after the years when we sit down and everybody has sort of the same feeling about the house, but no one kind of wanted to talk about it or say anything because, I mean, I'm skeptical. You know, I think your dad's probably a little bit more believable.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
So from the sounds of it, it sounds like everybody had an experience.
Yeah.
But nobody,
Isolated sometimes, or maybe not. But nobody likes to talk about it.
Yeah. But I think we shared it, like, we share some resemblance, but I don't know if do you want to talk about your second experience? Because I think I have my experiences
I had a follow-up
afterwards.
question.
Sure.
So I know, like, Beatriz, you know, she didn't, you guys don't have any information about her if she said anything. But what about the neighbors? Did the neighbors ever talk about the house? Like, did something ever happen? So nobody talked about it?
No, but you hear stories after. It's just that
like years later.
Well, not that the neighbors talked about it, like I said.
His mom still lives in the block, and every time we would go visit, there's always new neighbors.
So let's go jump back to your story. Just a little sidebar there for everybody. So that was one of your first incidents that you were talking about, that you were left alone, the light switched back on, and then your mom came back. And then, so what about afterwards? So what other incidents?
After, I didn't think it was anything like scary, but
or you want to believe it, maybe that thing.
Yeah, maybe I didn't want to believe it, but I used to hear noises in the night because the floor was tile.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always sleep with the door open, and my mom always had her door closed. And I used to tell her, please leave the light on in the hallway. After I had that experience, I didn't like to be in the dark.
Yeah.
So my dad wouldn't be at home all week, so he would only come in like on the weekends. So he would show up at home maybe Friday late at night, 9, 10, or even 11. So I would hear footsteps, like if it was coming toward the door, but I would never see him. I was waiting for him to either come and stand on the doorway or say, hey, I'm here. And I would hear keys being left on the table. But again, I wouldn't see him, or I wouldn't hear my mom's door open. So I would just hear like footsteps, and they would just stop on the hallway. The third incident that I had, my mom had gone out with her friends, and my brother Eddie was little, and I think our bed, it was the three of us in the same room, so it was two twin beds.
The three of you? Can you clarify that?
My brother Junior, and my brother Eddie, and he was months old.
Manuel Jr.
Manuel Jr. Yes, yeah. Manuel Jr., my brother. So our twin beds, we had them at the end, both at the end, and my brother Eddie's crib was in the middle. So I remember I brought my little boombox and I put it by Eddie's crib, but Eddie wasn't sleeping there. Eddie was, I think, was in my mom's room.
And boombox in our time means stereo.
The little
or radio.
stereo.
Or radio.
That's for everybody who forgot what a boombox was.
Not a Walkman. That's how old we are.
This is pre-iPhone, pre-iPod.
Yeah, pre anything that had memory.
So I have my boombox. I don't remember the age because it's been so long ago, but I remember putting the boombox, but Eddie was in my mom's room. He was little. He must have been, well, I don't know, actually, little, under 5. So, I don't know what time I went to bed, but I turned on the radio, and I had it very low, and it was soft, like jazz. It was something so I could fall asleep. And I remember it had the time on my boombox, so I remember opening my eyes, and it must have been like 12:30, and I opened up my eyes to look at the time, and I don't know why I glanced to the door, and the hallway light was on like always, and my door was all open. and I seen a female shadow standing on the doorway, just with, I could see like somebody with their
Like a
arms
silhouette,
crossed. Huh?
Like a silhouette of
Yeah,
the
a silhouette of
of
a female body.
So you
But
couldn't make out like a face
I couldn't
or
make
features?
out nothing.
Not
No,
even
it was
clothing?
dark.
Okay.
It was just black. It was literally black because I couldn't tell. But it was kind of odd to me at the time because it's like my babysitter, she was the one taking care of me, and I knew she was in the house because my mom was out, and my mom wouldn't leave us overnight, alone. So she was leaning on the doorway, and I seen the silhouette and just standing there staring at me. And I go, Beatriz, I told her, what happened? Or my mom's home? And she didn't answer. So I'm like, Beatriz. And she didn't answer. So I guess I must have been so tired. But I remember looking at the time, and it was 12:30. So I guess I must have been so tired I knocked out. So the following morning, I was already sensing that there was some paranormal going on. So I remember the next morning, but I didn't tell my mom. I asked my mom, I go, Mom, what time did you get home? And then she goes, I think it might have been like 2:30 or 3. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I asked my babysitter, I go, Beatriz, did you go check up on me at 12:30 last night? She said, no. It's like once we went to bed at 9 o'clock, I knocked out. I didn't go to your room. So I just felt like a cold chill all over my body, thinking like if it wasn't my mom and if it wasn't Beatriz, and it was not my dad because he was not home. And that's
And you just said it was a female shadow.
Just to kind of go back for that, because you mentioned before that you said that you've heard footsteps and then keychains, and then they never walked on you to see if there was somebody there. Did you if anything, do you remember if maybe you would have heard footsteps or keys at the time when you woke up, or?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I just
No, at that time
I just wanted to make sure, like, because you said was wondering if it might have been like the same entity or the same theme.
Well, that's what's. I think it was
walking.
different because based on what you told me is that you also had that little kid entity, and then you had the grown up, the silhouette, which is two different.
Yeah.
So
I think it might have been multiple.
Yeah.
And I think multiple.
So what Fidel here is trying to say is that there might have been multiple entities, and one of them was the kid. He said.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
because you also
Yes,
imagine
you could hear like little.
you can hear little
footsteps.
steps.
Yeah.
I
Like
believe
walking
after
or
this was
running along.
maybe this is probably after the house was sold. A couple of years later, I remember your dad, Manuel Senior, telling me the story that, and I think he told some of us in the group that he remembers like semi getting up, or I don't know if he hurt a little kid in the hall and told him, hey, go back to sleep, thinking it was one of your brothers.
Yeah.
I can't remember who at the time because I don't remember the age. I mean, I had a different experience. I believe we had just came back from going to out of town, and I used to hang around a lot with you guys. I used to go out to different places, and your mom used to take me, with you guys. I remember I think either we went to TJ or something like that. We came back really late, so I couldn't go to my house. So I ended up sleeping in the living room. And I used to hear all these stories, but I was never like, either part of me was because I just wanted to block it. So I never really, I would hear out, but I would never really believe it. So I would happen to be sleeping in the living room. And then
By yourself?
Yeah, I was by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was in her room with her brothers. And then her mom was in her room. I don't think your dad was there. Your dad wasn't there. It was just us.
What about the babysitter? This one, because I know she was
I
there
don't
often.
recall.
She
No.
might have been gone.
No, I
already.
think, she might have been gone.
Because
'cause
baby Joseph was he already
born.
or
And
was
I don't
he
think
not?
the babysitter was not there anymore.
No. He wasn't born because we were married yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's pause real quick before we get ahead of time here. So back to the incidents.
Yeah.
So somebody was overlooking you. You had the boombox on, and then that was pretty much it. After that,
Yeah.
those were your major.
Those were my that I could recall
Before
being
marriage, right?
Yes, before getting married.
Because there's some stuff after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, so then now we're jump back to Nancy and Fidel
They're not
Jr.
married.
They're not married.
No, we were dating. We were, boyfriend, girlfriend, and I would hang around a lot with their family. They would go places and they'd always invite me, and I was with them. And part of the reason that they was with you guys a lot was because your dad wasn't, So your mom used to hey, you know what, let's take them. So anywhere we go late at night,
drive us out.
Yeah,
to
we'll
the
drive you guys
hospital.
sometimes, stuff like that, or little things that would happen. But I remember coming back from TJ, and it was really late, so I couldn't go to my house. So I remember your mom said, "Hey, just stay here. In the morning, you'll go." I mean, I'm only walking distance from my house at the time, but I mean, she didn't want me to just to go, like it was 11, 12 at night. I was pretty late, so I ended up sleeping in the living room. And like I said, I've always been skeptical. Really don't. Whether it's true or not, I just decide not to believe it. It's better for me that way because I haven't experienced it or I haven't seen anything. So it was. I don't recall the time, but I know that I heard footsteps on the ceiling.
The attic.
The attic, basically.
Which is a one-floor house?
Yeah, one floor house.
Oh, with an attic.
Yeah, with an attic. So I heard footsteps, and for whatever reason, I wasn't the only one because I remember your mom getting up. And then your mom freaked the shit out of me because she was like, "Hey, I think I heard something," and I heard something too. So, but I'm like, "Oh, it's probably a cat," but it must have been a heavy ass cat because you could hear it like somebody walking in the attic. So but it wasn't an attic that you had enough room to walk in the first place. It had like the middle of it probably, but most of it was pretty low, so there wasn't a whole lot of room to walk up there. So whoever, it couldn't have been like a big person, but it sounded like something like heavy, something like heavy walking on top. So she basically, once again
before you jump in there, there's a significant difference between a sound of like a wood creaking or something like, and then actual footsteps.
No, that was footsteps.
Is distinguishable.
Yeah, that was footsteps because I recall waking up and I figured it was when you like hear something. Whether it's somebody knocking or somebody, like she said, somebody walking inside the house, you wake up, but it's kind of vague because you don't know if you're actually dreaming. And then you actually see somebody or hear it and you say, "Oh, it's you, you're walking." No, this was, even after I woke up, I heard the steps. And that's the only reason I know that it was like, oh, like something's going on. And so, I was going to go back to sleep and make it like nothing happened. But her mom woke up and then told me, "Did you hear something up there or something?" I don't remember the exact conversation because it's been so many years. But I remember I said, "Hey, can you check up there?" Well, I'm thinking like, holy crap, like I'm freaking out. Your mom's freaking out. And then...
I just had a question about like where the attic was located because you
the
said
entrance of the attic?
Nancy's mom could hear it. So are we talking about like, is the attic, is it like...
Oh no, it just goes across the house.
The attic is on top of the house.
It goes across the house.
Across the
across the house, yeah. And there's a little entrance. There was a little entrance.
That
actually,
was in my room.
It was in her
and it was
closet.
a tiny little hole.
It was in her closet, and it was a little. It was just a piece of a piece of like thin wood that was just covering it. So I had to do is just move it over, and then so her mom, like your mom, like Roselia, she made me like climb up there and look. So I'm like creeping out because I got a flashlight. It's like pitch dark, and I'm like picking my head up there, expecting something creepy to scare the crap out of me, but at the same time, like, I'm the only guy in the house. I gotta man up. So I'm like, Nancy, if somebody pulls me, just hold on to my feet. So then I looked up, and I'm like flashing. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of room because of the way that.
There's no way of anybody getting in.
No, there's no way of somebody from the outside getting in. There is no. Everything's sealed. The way the roof was built, it was kind of like I said, like a pyramid. So it's really like if you're looking from the top down, it's decline or incline, however you call it.
You can't even walk on.
You can't walk in it. So there was very low areas where there was no way like a full body person could get in there.
Up there then?
I went up there, yeah.
So by the way you're saying, I'm assuming that you guys were under the impression that maybe you guys thought somebody went in?
Something like an animal, like a raccoon. I mean, I don't know. It was, but it was heavy though. It was heavy, like I said. So I looked, flashed around, and there was nothing up there, came back down, and I think, I don't recall, I honestly just recall having the conversation with your mom. I don't even recall her.
I was there.
No, you were, yeah, we were all there. I don't recall, her reaction or her, I remember her being in the house, but I don't recall. And then, for me, that was pretty much it, as far as any paranormal experiences. I would hear a lot about it, but after that I didn't experience it.
I don't think we ever slept there when we got married either, no?
No.
Because we lived in the back.
Yeah, so no. We didn't experience it. Even in the back, I don't
think
recall.
I wanted to go back.
Yeah, no, I think I didn't experience, we didn't experience everything when we lived in the back room, right?
No.
No.
No,
I think the only thing that creeped me out is that I want to say we were still living there when we found a suitcase with a baby.
No, it was a bag. It was like a trash bag.
A trash
full
bag,
of,
like
baby stuff,
like
and
baby hospital stuff, like respirator, and
like the tubing and.
yeah. So that because the most of the experiences, at least from what I imagine, with the footsteps and her experiences, and even your dad saying, I heard a little kid, and I think he had more than a few experiences. If you talk to him,
Yeah.
you will remember like he had more than one experience with having a little kid in the hall. We all thought like, what if it's the kid that that died? I don't think he died at the house.
So whose kid was this?
That was the one of the people that my parents bought the house from.
So the former owners?
The former owner's sister.
Oh.
This kid. And we didn't even know. We've known him for so long. We didn't even know.
We knew because we found the stuff.
Yeah, and
then we just kind of how we tried to connect some of the things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, wait a minute.
So we didn't know that she had lost a baby until we found all that hospital stuff in the...
And I don't know, I think we bothered to look because we were maybe moving out or something like that.
Yeah, I don't even know why, but we ended up looking up there. And that's what I remember putting it back. I was like, oh, just leave it there. It's not even ours. I didn't want to move it.
Yeah.
So, and then also in the backyard, there was a sinkhole that it was just sinking, and we didn't know what it was from. So my dad started digging out everything, and he dug so deep, like as tall as him. I don't know how tall he is, maybe
almost
like
5'8" or something like that.
Yeah, so.
And I think he still dug more, and it's a little bit more, no?
Yeah, and there was just wooden framing all around it, and I guess he got scared, and he just started dumping all kinds of trash and closed it back up.
So he dug a hole.
Yeah.
No, he didn't dig a hole. The ground caved down.
Oh,
it sinked in like a sinkhole.
So he started
and it was
digging,
pretty.
like,
But it didn't sink right away. Like it started just
time.
sinking. And it was like curiosity. What if
because
there
he would
was
put more dirt on it to level it,
and it just keep sinking. So then, just out of the blue, just decided to start digging. Like, what the heck is down there? Is there like a pipe that broke, or if there's like something hollow, or maybe just somebody threw trash in it? So he started digging, and then he found himself that there was a wooden frame around it, like almost like like it wasn't necessarily a hole, like a little bunker.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it was,
exactly
but he
so
he kind of freaked out because
all
so he kind of like, what the heck? Why would somebody have a bunker back here?
So he was.
You know what I mean? Like it just. I mean, I think it kind of brought more like questions and answers, but it was one of those things where once we got out of there, no one wanted to deal with it. We talked about the experiences, but we didn't talk about, hey, what if we ever go to the city and research the house and see if something happened there?
I haven't searched it. I've been tempted to search, but I don't know how.
So real quick back. So that was the only experience you had, was just the footsteps on the.
I mean, most of the time I think they had the experiences, and they would call me and say, hey, can you come check this out, or can you see what's going on over here, or we don't want to be alone tonight because
we didn't live in that house, so I don't think he was there long enough to see or hear things.
Yeah,
so.
I think it was mostly that.
And then when we got married, we lived in the back.
Yeah. And I never had bad experiences in that house.
Yeah,
let me clarify that. I had that incident, but as far as something that happened to me or something that I can say, I experienced multiple things and I really believe something's going on, I never did.
But
I think the way, like I said, my way of analyzing something was wrong was what happened to everyone that we knew. And not only that, after we moved, that house went through a couple of tenants. Like, it didn't just, because like I said, I think Nancy said it, that, my parents still lived there in the neighborhood, and they would say, like, hey, guess what? There's somebody new living in the house again. And this was within, like, a year. And then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? There's somebody living in your house again. So we were always kind of questioning, like, what the heck's going on? Like, so for a while, it was just like, well, maybe it was just us.
You would just see the for sale sign.
Yeah,
it was just,
and you would see that for sale sign, like maybe like a year after somebody would buy it, that for sale sign was up again, and it was just one of those weird kind of like, why,
You think of it as like,
he almost was curious to go and look for the people that lived there, like, hey, ask them, like.
That's the funny thing. I don't remember anything nice of that house.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's like no fond memories.
No.
No.
I don't know why.
And you would imagine that for her.
How long did you guys stay in that house?
I want to
Well, as
say,
far as your family
I moved
was
out
there.
at 16.
Yeah, so she wasn't there that long.
So right after I
So how
got married.
old were you when you guys moved in?
11,
like
no,
nine.
nine.
So
9 and a
about
half.
6 years.
Well, see,
Yeah.
well, here's what's interesting that she says that, is that you would think, was that your first house? That was the first house you guys purchased, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you would think after living in, like renting and stuff like that, and that being your first house, it would be a lot of joy.
I mean,
This is
there's good memories, but it's not like they stand out more than the scary or bad moments
Yeah.
that I went through.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's just how I actually digest things.
Oh yeah.
Or
yeah.
and
So
also
then
maybe
I
that.
focus more into my
Into
negative
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
But why is it that, I mean, my son was pretty much raised there for the first, 2 years?
2 years? Uh-huh.
3
But in
years.
the back house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, I was
Yeah.
always at my mom's. My mom pretty much helped me take care of him when I was at school or at work. But it's like,
But I
for
think
me to say, it's like, oh my God, it was my best time of my life.
It
an
was also
awesome
the time
home,
that
or-
you were pretty much on your way out. So, your first years maybe were like, the way you pictured it. But the last maybe 3 years is when everything kind of started happening.
Yeah, I don't know, because even when I was little, I mean, they killed my cat, and that was like, it was just weird stuff, is what I'm saying. A lot of bad stuff happened to me there.
So do you know if obviously because social events at the house, did no one ever mentioned anything else that they might have
Well, I
experienced?
was young, so I don't know if anybody, and yeah,
But
it
now-
was a social home because
but now
every
years
weekend.
later? Like, because now that you guys say like a lot of stories resurface.
Yeah.
Well,
So, like,
I
years
think
later,
from what
so
I've
you guys heard
heard, I
anything?
think what I've heard stories from like my mother-in-law. I've heard stories from my father-in-law of things that
But
they witnessed.
I haven't heard anything from my aunts.
Outside of your
outside
outside
of
your
my circle.
intermediate family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
outside of my
Nothing.
circle, no.
No.
Yeah, only like nowadays, lately we've been hearing some stories, but I don't even know what my brother Junior, Manuel Junior, has experienced. I didn't even know he actually experienced stuff there.
Mhm.
So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, I think
Now
everybody's
I'm
just
just
Because
finding
nobody
out.
wanted to talk about it.
Nobody,
Like,
I
just
think it
kinda
was
like-
just that ugly.
I think part of it too is that once again you have people that like myself that regardless whether I think I saw something or because I tell her she's into it, she looks at different programs and stuff like that, and I most of the time I kind of shine off from seeing that, but I'm starting to notice more like the sense that you see somebody walking and you kind of think that it's either a shadow or something and you're like, oh, it's nothing, but maybe those are the premonitions, or maybe those are the things that she sees that I kind of ignore as, oh, it's just the corner of my eye, I thought I saw something. You know what I mean? Or when I'm alone and somebody calls me out, and I'm thinking like, oh, she's home already. Oh, like there's no one home. Stuff like that. But I kind of see it as like, well, maybe it's just me overthinking stuff. But so yeah, as far as like, no one ever talked about it. Some people probably, if they did experience, they never really brought it up. Maybe because they didn't believe it.
I kind of feel like that's kind of where it went.
Yeah.
There was just so much going on. So, you said that you might have thought that there might have been multiple entities at this house?
Mm-hmm.
And Mallison, yeah.
Why
Yeah,
do you believe
because
that?
I would hear like a little kid walking, so
Yeah.
I would think it was my little brother, but it wasn't because there was nobody in the hallway when
Nobody
I
was
would
either
get up.
awake or
Yeah, I would get up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's probably wanting some milk or something. So I would hear little footsteps, and like it wasn't walking. It was like just like running in a way, like, oh, I'm gonna go.
they were just fast
Yeah.
paced.
It was
Maybe
at
they're
a
like
fast
almost in
pace.
between.
So it's not like you would hear the door. It's like he would disappear that quick. It couldn't. It was impossible. Because I would be either sitting down on my bed and I would hear the footsteps and I would get up to see if my brother needed milk or anything. So I would not see anybody. And I would open my mom's bedroom and everybody was asleep.
Yeah.
So you had like the really tall figure that would come and see you, and then,
And
you
then the
had
tall
ba-
figure. Uh-huh.
and the baby, or would you would think it was a kid, or
And then the
Or just because of the
There was a
footsteps.
woman?
Just that,
Yeah, the
yeah,
woman
it was.
that
It
was-
looked like a female, but it
oh, so
could
there
have
was
been.
three then maybe.
No. I
Oh,
only
no,
had two.
two?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and besides the light, when the light turned on me, that I didn't see anything. But the silhouette, it looked like a female. I sensed it was a female, but I don't know. it looked, I don't know.
Did you ever get to hear any more news about if, other than, because you guys already confirmed that maybe a baby had passed away, but what about
That
this female
was
entity?
after.
Yeah, that was
totally
after. Yeah, that was after all the
when
experiences
we found,
and everything.
when we found the bag, that's when
I think that's when we moved out and we were going through stuff, and the location, the back room that we were living in, like I said, it had a little attic, like a little room on top, where in our bedroom. So I don't remember ever putting anything there, but I just for whatever reason decided to check, and that's when we saw like stuff up there, and then there was a bag, and then we were like, what the heck is this? Like, who put it here?
So I
mean, how long was it up there?
Obviously, when the former owners left and they cleared off of everything entire in that back house, nothing else was there other than there's just one random bag of.
Yeah, because
That's
they were
interesting
gone.
because you would think because
because we were already living in that. We were already living there.
Trash, but there's just this one.
No, they just left it up there. So
I think
I
they
always
forgot it.
I mean, I don't know if I had experiences. Do we ever have experiences there?
So the baby, or was it a baby? Was it a child?
They say he was 4.
So was
a
the
boy.
4-year-old
like a
boy
toddler.
child?
Yeah, it was a toddler.
Did he die while he was at that house, or was
No,
We
at the
don't
hospital.
know.
No, we don't know.
Oh,
I take that back. No, because I mean, maybe your mom knows. Maybe Roselia
maybe
knows.
she knows. I
Because,
don't know.
but that's not something that was shared with us. I mean, like
so
I
you
said,
don't know if like the kid had died before or after, like they had left.
The baby died before we.
Oh,
even
before you moved in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
They
So
died.
we didn't even know
No.
she had a little boy.
No.
So it was never mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was till after we found the bag.
Yeah,
when
we found
were
out
married.
when we were moving out.
And
we
I
were
told
moving
my
out and went
mom-
through everything. And then I decided, because I saw the little door, and I went up
And
there,
we told
checked.
my mom.
And then actually, believe it or not, like I said, there's not a lot of things that creep me out, but that one creeped me out. Because I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, what if all this experiences we're getting, and even though the baby didn't die there, I mean, the
I'm
spirit's
sure
still
they
around.
follow, I think.
The spirit's still around, because I mean, it sounded like that baby suffered, because
Yeah.
it was
Well,
medical stuff that was
Yeah,
there.
because I was just
like
gonna say
like
that.
breathing
So it's
apparatus and stuff like that.
Do you think that was like home stuff, like home
I don't
medical
know.
supplies?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's stuff like
So
where they
maybe
just
it
bring
was
them home
there.
and stuff like that.
Would you say like the stuff in the bag was it like from that time period or was it before? Like did it look like older?
No.
No,
It
So
wasn't
looked
that
like
old.
something
No, it
it looked
wasn't,
like
no.
something
At
in
that
that
time.
era.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, it didn't look
Yeah.
like antique stuff.
yeah, no.
So it didn't even like smell or nothing.
No.
like that?
No, I didn't notice
No,
anything.
no, I
But
think
it just
I'm the one
looked
that just
tiny.
like yeah, look tiny, like baby
Yeah.
stuff. I think I just kind of bagged it up.
I think it's just
I
like
think I
really
just bagged it up just to-
bizarre that
Yeah.
you move out and then you leave that
You would
behind.
forget
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
Unless that
well,
was-
especially because I would imagine that she collected that stuff.
Yeah.
She kept that stuff as a memory of her baby. And like I said, when we moved out, I decided to check there, which is something that I would do because I thought maybe I just store some stuff up there because there's like an extra storage. And then so...
And this is the back house.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
back house also had like a small little
Okay,
attic,
okay.
just stuff that you could just like throw. But we never did. And we decided to do it when we left. I don't even know why.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we decided to check. I just decided, like, I popped the door, I looked up there, and I saw that bag. I might have saw some other stuff, but wasn't curious. I don't know if I saw boxes or whatever. I just pulled the bag, looked, kind of creeped us out. I wrapped it up and just threw it back. I threw it back on top. I was like, you know what, this, you know.
Did you guys
I
ever
think I asked.
Did you guys ever get in contact with that family to see like how
yeah.
they're doing?
Oh,
Are
yeah,
they
no,
still
but
like-
we
I
never.
actually bumped into her daughter.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
We
Oh,
bumped.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, you guys are still sort
Yeah,
of connected
we
to
still
that?
talk
How-
We
to
actually ran into them years ago
That
at
was-
remember
yeah.
the skating? What-
No, it was at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, at Chuck E. Cheese.
Several years.
Yeah, we ran into. So we ran into, but
So
but
we
we don't
still
know them
stay
that
in
personal.
contact.
We don't know them that personal to actually ask those kind of private questions.
Yeah.
Maybe
about
I
that
should now. Now I'm curious.
Yeah. We never.
But
Yeah.
we
but-
don't know. I think of it like, what if I touch a nerve? You know, it was her baby.
Yeah, it is very
Yeah.
sensitive
So I think
topic
it's,
too.
And we don't know. We didn't know them that personal. I think we probably got them more personal now because after so many years, we still run into each other.
That's so weird.
And
that you
and
just
I'm not
keep-
talking about like
She
at the same
actually-
city. I'm talking about like cities like.
So-
She
So I just want to make sure you guys didn't leave as friends.
No.
So
we
there's
didn't.
no form of communication or nothing.
probably
you just
her
randomly
parents-
bumped
we
into
just
them.
randomly.
Yeah, I think your
My
parents
moms
became
do.
friendship.
Yeah, my mom does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
but
not
not
us.
us. We never had
Okay,
like that
okay.
kind of interaction.
Uh-huh.
The interaction came after.
I
like-
just bumped into the daughter like 2 weeks ago
Yeah,
at work.
yeah.
She came in with her husband as a patient, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you look familiar. She's like, are you Nancy? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a quick talk,
So
but I
was she
keep.
young during that time?
Yeah.
Or
She
like,
was when they left.
Baby.
She must have been 2 or 3.
Yeah.
She was
oh,
a toddler.
So she doesn't
oh,
recall.
so she was her older brother, basically.
So yes, it
It
would
was
have been
her
her
older
older brother.
brother.
Yeah.
It might have been the oldest one.
Yeah, because there was
Oldest
another
one.
one.
There was
baby.
another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 of them.
Oh,
3
three, okay,
kids.
okay.
Yeah.
So it would be the one that died,
And
then it would be her.
Another sister.
Another sister, and then
and
her.
then her.
sister. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So
she was
the
a
one
baby.
I just bumped into, Arlene. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she
is
was
the
the
little,
baby.
the youngest one.
Yeah.
Do you have her information?
Yeah. No, we don't.
No, but I have
But you
the
know what,
mom's
yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be for another topic, but I don't
Yeah.
know if that would be something that they would be open to. And it's
Yeah.
sensitive
Yeah.
stuff.
Maybe he would
But
be
not
able
talk
to,
about, like,
not the baby,
not the baby, but,
I
like,
would
what
be
they
interested to
experience
know
if
if they
they-
did experience
Yeah.
anything in that
So,
home.
okay, so that's to clarify the baby part. What about the adult? Did you guys ever hear anything about this
No,
other
I think I was
female?
more curious about it. That's when I told Nancy, what if we like go to the city? What if we go online and start looking up like history of?
But outside of that,
Yeah, no.
never heard anything else from like
No,
a
not
female,
from
not even
Mallison.
the neighbors.
No.
That's interesting.
I think it's more of the fear, even though Nancy loves all that stuff. It's the fear of finding out something. There is some truth to that, and then knowing that you really, because part of you, I think is like you're still kind of. I mean, I don't think she's skeptical because she saw it and felt the way it was.
I know.
But I think
it
part
exists.
of you is more like there's still something that doesn't add up,
Yeah.
and then that would probably just kind of make everything kind of make
Yeah.
sense. I'm surprised you have.
Either
Yeah, I
it makes
think
sense
we
or
just-
horrify.
Yeah,
you more.
horrify you more exactly.
To me, I would feel like I'd be more like
Yeah.
terrified
Yeah.
to know that
Yeah.
something actually did happen.
That happened there, yeah. But it's kind of like those stories where you look like there's reason when things happen, whether it's because they dramatically kill somebody there or somebody died, which was very dramatic. But
Yeah, who
Do you
knows?
have the address?
Yeah.
yeah, we do.
Can I have it?
It's why are you gonna go if you're gonna go hunt?
No, I just wanna.
Yeah.
Okay.
House.
So, that's pretty much it on like your experiences there.
Yes, on Mallison, yeah. Those.
One last question.
Yes.
So, amongst all this craziness, how do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like you believe in this? Or do you not believe in
I
this? Do you
do.
feel like it was just a dark time that it
No,
just happened to manifest into like this ghost or what do you guys think?
Well, I feel like we went together for 30 years, and I still feel like I don't believe on it, even though I've heard the steps. I don't believe
You're
in it.
still skeptical?
I'm still skeptical.
Oh my
and she's not. I'm skeptical. I still believe like it's more of, what I believe in, like that one movie with what's his name?
But do you feel more skeptical because you did not live in there and you mostly based it off of what they told you? Or
You've
because
never-
that does make
Yeah.
a difference. Is like
Have an experience.
is
Yeah.
one thing is you're actually living,
Yeah, no,
breathing
yeah.
inside that house
Yeah.
versus like, oh, Nancy just told me this story and it's
Yeah.
craziness.
Yeah, that would probably be it. Because I just, like I said, I've just hearing it from other people makes
But
me-
even that experience you had.
Yeah, I was
you
just
don't-
gonna say on a deeper level because I really want to get deeper onto that. Is that I know that there's a speculation there, and then at the same time you have like a belief. Do you feel that you just don't want to believe that it actually happened to you?
That
No.
it does exist?
No,
That it does
no,
exist, or
No, it doesn't scare me. So
No?
it's not that I don't want. No, I just don't. I don't feel like that. That's true to me. You know what I mean? I just maybe because I didn't have the experiences she had. It's more hearsay. I would hear her. I would hear Nancy. I would hear your dad talk about it. And I don't know if I ever heard your mom talk about it.
I don't know if that's the reason, because of my experience, why I love all that ghost encounters on TV. Like I love watching all those shows, that the experience they go through, because it wasn't just in Mallison that I experienced of, it's like other locations too. But I don't know if I'm just sensitive to spirits or what it is that things happen to me. So when I see these shows, it truly is how they describe it. It's like, oh, I seen this figure this way. And it's within seconds when you see stuff that it's like, wait, did I really see it? So I don't know if that's because of the Mallison experience. I really.
Just more and more curious about what.
I'm always curious
Yeah.
about those.
Whether it's true or not.
Stories.
Yeah, I just thought maybe I think it's what you said.
Till this,
Longtooth.
so to this day, you still probably trying to seek answers.
Yeah,
and that's
you know
probably
what?
why you.
I think that's what it is.
That's probably why you're so fond of
What
like ghost
happened?
stories.
Or
and
more,
see
maybe it
what
was
they-
relative to what she experienced. She likes to know that other people have, so to add, oh, you know what? I'm not
Like,
crazy.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not going through a psychological issue. And with me, it's like,
So I think that's
with
what
me
it
is
is.
don't bother to death. You know, they're dead, they're gone. If they're not gone, we'll let them go. I'm fine. You know, I'm fine in my own
I
world.
don't.
So
I think they do exist. I think that they still walk among us, and I don't know. Maybe they're looking for something that they.
They're probably
weren't
seeking
able-
answers just like you are.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
they
yeah,
probably
you still
trying to,
don't bother
like-
me. I'm watching
Yes.
football or baseball.
They probably
Who's
left.
winning? Hey.
Yeah, maybe they know the
They
future.
probably left this world, the living world, with something pending.
Unfinished business.
Yeah. Like an unfinished
And see,
business.
to me, that's. I mean, maybe I look at it like that's more of a negative way or bad way of looking at it. So
Yeah.
that's probably why I don't bother looking at it. that
Oh,
way.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I always hear that, like, the ones that are here are the ones that haven't left because something's missing. They haven't closed that, whatever situation happened in their lives. So, therefore, to me, that's a negative experience or negative feeling or energy. So, therefore, I'd rather just not.
So what do you guys see this as? Do you guys see this as a ghost? Do you guys see this as a negative entity? Do you guys?
Yeah,
What did it manifest for you guys individually?
Oh, well, like I said it earlier, for me, I put more of a correlation of everything that I heard from the families that were there until, like, even putting, you know, your parents' situation, our situation, as there was a dark entity as far as just dark energy. To me, energy has nothing to do with
So
ghosts.
I think that's what it is.
See,
I
with me,
think
but see,
that-
with me, energy, I don't relate it to being a
ghost,
ghost
yeah.
or some type of life form, you know, that lives there. It's more just I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's just a bad vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that bad vibe just kind of transitions into if you're, put it this way, if I'm having, you know, a bad situation in whether it's relationship, whether it's with my inner person, then that entity is sort of I'm the energy that they want and they feed into, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I don't see that as a ghost. So I'm kind of giving them sort of a body.
Maybe that's why he
a
doesn't
body.
see or hear anything.
A
'cause
body
the ghost
to-
is
to-
like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, this dude's dark. I'm looking for somebody that's happy that I can make their life dark. So yeah, that's the reason why. Maybe to me that's what it was.
So some form of energy.
Yeah, some form of energy. To me, that's what it was. That everybody that was there went through something.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to say
Just
it
kinda
was a
kept
ghost.
building.
Now, if you want to say it was an actual ghost.
I think it was a ghost.
Yeah.
I think it was a ghost with bad energy that just wanted to cause chaos. I don't know that. I feel like it's that.
The neighborhood houses or the surrounding houses, they don't look
They're
like
not
that?
built the
Nothing
same.
like
Nope.
that?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
That's the only house.
That's the
Yeah.
only house that's different.
I wonder if it's
And
like
then
a...
we have a bunker.
So it might be like an origin
Yeah.
house. Like, I mean, not. I'm sorry, that's not the right word. But maybe it's been the longest withstanding house, and maybe everything around got built, which just could explain why there's a bunker
Or the second house.
or the
Or
second
the
house.
only-
Because does any other houses have a secondary house?
Well, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But it was
Fixed
built
it.
afterwards?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but the house is different compared to my parents' house is different. My parents' house, I think, looks even a little bit more modern. There is another one that's kind of like it. So maybe there were probably the original ones.
Which house
You know
is
whose
this?
is Ike's.
Oh.
Yeah, his roof
So
is like
where's what house?
that's
is
right
this?
next to my parents.
And
So
this is
that's-
what, like five,
That's
four houses down.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4
about four.
houses. 4 houses.
Is that one house, one story or two
No,
story?
that
It
one is
almost looks
two-story.
designed. Oh, it's
I
2-story.
Yeah, I think
I
it has like a room. Yeah, there, but it must be like a really small room.
I
But
don't
the
know.
shape of the
Maybe
roof is the
not.
same.
I don't know. But
Yeah,
the
but it's just I just realized that those are the only 2 houses that are built the same way.
Like,
Every other house has different structure. As a matter of fact, your neighbor Gabi, she has a flat roof. She has a roof that that's flat that has like gravel.
It looks kind of like
Yeah.
Spanish.
And the ones
type
on
of
the other side, the ones that
structure.
have the tile roof. So
Yeah, they have
so
the
a lot of
tile.
them, a lot of those houses
They're
went
not the same.
to transition. I just remember a third house.
So everybody's house.
I just remember a third house that looks kind of creepy.
contemporary,
Which
but
one?
Donut and
Oh yeah.
that's kind of the same.
Yeah.
The same. They almost look. What era was it? Like they look like.
I don't know, but it was like the 1950s.
Yeah.
Or.
So there's 3 houses. Yeah.
don't
So I
know.
think
don't
maybe
even know
all the
the
houses
history.
look probably like that
I
house.
honestly don't
And
want to
people
know
just-
anything anymore about that house.
Because a lot of the houses there were redone. There was a couple of houses that were redone, remodeled, stuff like that. But there's 3 that look like that probably was the kind of the style in that neighborhood. But it was kind of a weird, not Victorian, huh?
No, that's not
No,
Victorian.
no.
No. I don't even know what you call that type of structure.
But it had the roofs that are like really, really spiked
No,
up, like pyramid type.
we'll have to
And
post pictures if
they're
we can.
steep.
So
They're
everybody
like
kinda get
steep
an idea
down,
what
you
it
know,
looks
I
like.
think if you search your home
Like styles, architecture.
architecture.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to.
Yeah, because I know the colonial homes, I like them. Those are the flat, looks like a big hall.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Those are like from the Lincoln era and
Yeah,
the world, what is it?
Yeah.
Civil War.
The Civil War.
Mhm.
Like in that era. Those are colonial homes. And then the Victorians are the ones, they're all wooden. They actually
the
they
outside
do
of
look
the
a
framing,
little bit like
yeah,
that.
I
But
don't know.
I think it was from Victorian to that.
Yeah, there was
the
a
transition to.
Yeah.
That's why it probably has that look, those pointy
Mhm.
roofs. Yeah. But
Cool.
that's our Mallison experience.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your
I
experience.
mean, we don't have nightmares over it, but
I do.
well, she does. I don't.
I still do,
I sleep
shoot.
very deep, so.
I still do. I just had a nightmare
So
weeks
that's
ago.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the
Oh.
opportunity
Of course.
to like really get more.
Thank you for being interested in our story.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
And I'm sure her family has a lot more.
I'm sure we have
yeah,
plenty
like
of
I
more
said,
stories.
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting because we never really asked questions,
no,
right?
we haven't talked.
Like, no one
we
really-
don't talk
really-
about it. That's
yeah.
what's weird.
But because they correlate bad
Yeah.
experiences and they
I
say,
think
"Oh,
it's
I'd rather
that.
not." I'd rather
They
not.
don't
do
want
that."
to go back.
Yeah.
And remember.
Cool.
But it made her a fanatic of looking at all those
Paranormal
paranormal
fanatic.
movies.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, and have a good night.